Program, it says they are rookies, but they have not performed like rookies this season. Jameis Winston, Todd Gurley, they've known each other since high school and have remained in contact through the years, and they will be tied together as part of this outstanding 2015 rookie class. They've got bigger plans, though. The Buccaneers improved from last season to this season. St. Louis Rams went through a 5-game losing streak, but the Rams believe they can build some momentum after a victory over Detroit last week. Tampa Bay won the toss. They've deferred to the second half, so St. Louis will receive. Trent, it is a color rush game, and I suddenly have a craving for condiments.
You're not going to have a problem deciphering the two teams. There's definitely a significant difference between these two.
Connor Barth will kick it off. Benny Cunningham is the deep man for St. Louis. And Jeff Fisher, 21st year as a head coach in the NFL, his 4th with the Rams. Lovie Smith, he's done a terrific job with his Tampa Bay squad, now in his 2nd year. Thursday Night Football is underway on NFL Network. Barth gets it started to Cunningham. Stiff arm. Cunningham down the sideline. A little stutter step move, and he's out of bounds at around the 40. That's where St. Louis will open things up after the 43-yard return by Cunningham. Case Keenum, he's bounced between Houston and St. Louis and getting an opportunity to run this offense for Jeff Fisher.
Well, it's important to note Jeff Fisher changed offensive coordinators a week ago, letting go Frank Cignetti, and last week they responded, getting the victory against Detroit. Rob Boris is now the offensive coordinator calling the plays.
And Keenum said the play calls were still coming in the same way from Chris Wenke, the quarterback coach, so it didn't sound any different in his helmet. Said everything was very much on time and very smooth in Boris's debut. It's a handoff for Gurley. They push the pile. Gurley out near midfield with a 6-yard pickup on the first play from scrimmage. Tony McDaniel, who is in for the injured Akeem Spence, makes the tackle for Tampa Bay.
Well, and that's going to be an important part of this game. Both these teams like to run the football. Obviously, we've mentioned Todd Gurley quite a bit on the other side of the ball. Doug Martin for Tampa Bay, but that's what the Rams want to do. They want to run the football, get yardage, get to the play-action pass, and then take their shots when they have it.
Gurley trying to become the 3rd Rams rookie to go over 1,000 yards on the ground. Dickerson and Bettis, the other two. Keenum, swing it to the outside, and the catch is made by Kendricks. He's got a first down quickly into Tampa Bay territory, out of bounds at the 40. That's an 11-yard pass play.
He's coming out of the backfield out into the flat. They catch the leverage there, able to get the first down, get a good accurate throw out in front, allowing Kendricks to pick up that first down the sideline.
He got separation from Ori Lemon, who gets the start because of an injury to Bruce Carter. Carter was in for Quan Alexander, serving a 4-game suspension for Tampa Bay. So new set of downs for St. Louis at the 40 of the Buccaneers. It's Gurley. Not much there for Gurley, but he keeps the legs churning for a pickup of 4. 2 touchdowns last week, 16 carries, 140 yards. That was coming off a stretch of 5 games where he did not crack the 100-yard barrier.
Well, and it's interesting. You look at these first 2 runs of the game for Todd Gurley, and both of them, there wasn't really a hole there for him to attack. He just pushed the pile on that first carry, getting nearly 6 yards that time. Hey, 4 yards by just pushing the pile.
3 receiver set here for St. Louis with Brian Quick in, Kenny Britt, Avon Austin, and a nickel package for Tampa Bay. Toss it to Gurley. Down the sideline, Gurley. That's knocked out of bounds, but he had stepped out prior to the contact. They're going to mark him out at the 18-yard line. That's a 19-yard catch and run for the Georgia product.
Nice recognition by Case Keenum, understanding that coverage is dropping. So take the underneath route. Take your quick throw to the flat. Don't allow that pressure to get to you. He puts the ball in Gurley's hands, who's able to turn it up with the big game.
So St. Louis is in business inside the Tampa Bay 20. A victory over Detroit has got a 5-game losing streak. They lost to Minnesota, Chicago, Baltimore, Cincinnati, and Arizona. Up the gut for Gurley and picks up a yard. So Gurley, who was coming off terrible leg injury, torn ACL November of 2014. He got off to the hot start once Jeff Fisher put him into the starting lineup. Then the dip against Minnesota, against Chicago. It continued through that losing streak until last week when he was able to bust out again.
Well, everybody wanted to bring up, it's the rookie slump. He's hitting that wall, but he didn't have any wall that he was affecting him last week, gaining those 140 yards.
Motion man is Austin on 2nd and 9 for the Rams. Toss it. Get the hand to Austin. Touchdown! Tavon Austin with the catch, and then he turns it upfield for 17 yards. St. Louis on the board first.
And that's what being effective running the football does. Case Keenum turns around for a quick flash fake to Gurley in the backfield. He gets the defense to draw inside, getting Austin in the open field. It's just like he's in punt return mode, Ian. He's in the open field. He's able to make a miss with the missed tackle, allowing him to get into the end zone.
They go 6 plays, 57 yards. Remember, the strong kickoff return by Cunningham helped set it up for St. Louis. Zerline on for the extra point. And a 7-0 lead for the Rams. And they get it done quickly. Mixing in the run and the pass on their first drive, and it's Austin doing the work for Keenum. 7-0, Rams in front. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Mazda. Driving matters. And by Verizon. Watch live, local, and primetime games on NFL Mobile included, only on Verizon. Well, that was easy for St. Louis on its first possession. It took 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Gurley did a lot of the work on the drive, and then Austin with a catch and run for the touchdown. Jameis Winston waiting for his opportunity to lead this Tampa Bay offense. St. Louis has got the 7-0 lead, and Zerline will kick it off to Bobby Rainey, the deep man for the Buccaneers. Tampa Bay 2 losses in its last 3 games. A loss at Indy, a victory over Atlanta, and then the loss to the Saints last week. A flat performance for the Buccaneers by their own admission. Only 291 yards of offense against a Saints defense that had been allowing 425 yards per game. Zerline resets it. And a booming kick from Greg the Leg. It's a touchback for the Buccaneers.
On this play, on the touchdown play, Greg Robinson, he's going to pull out space, get the key block here, but I want you to keep an eye on the linebacker. He's going to get influenced by the play fake to Gurley. He takes a step, couple of steps inside, and then spins out of it, so he's out of position to make that tackle, and then Major Wright misses the open field tackle as Tavon Austin avoids him and gets into the end zone.
So Buccaneers open up on their own 20-yard line. Had a chance to move above the 500 mark last week for the first time since November of 2012. And Martin, there's a wall there. Martin tries to take it outside and gets knocked down after the gain of 3. Eugene Sims with the tackle. Jameis Winston, #1 overall pick. He has set the franchise record for most passing yards by a rookie in Buccaneers history.
Well, what he's really learned from him, if you look, he's got 11 interceptions on this season. 7 of those 11 interceptions came in the first 4 games. What he's done very well the last 9 games, understanding he has to protect the football.
6 offensive linemen for Tampa Bay. This is something you'll see quite a bit of from the Buccaneers to give Winston a little more protection potential. Martin slashing across the 30. He's got a first down. It's a 9-yard pickup for Martin, the second leading rusher in the NFL this season behind Adrian Peterson.
See, Aaron Donald gets through the offensive line right away. Has a chance to make a play in the backfield, but Doug Martin able to escape from that arm tackle and bouncing it to the outside, picking up the first down.
So line it up at the 31 for the Buccaneers. They've actually had a lot of big plays this season. 60 plays of 20 or more yards. That's 7th in the NFL. Martin again takes the smallest crack and turns it into a 9-yard pickup. Good block by the veteran Logan Mankins up front for Tampa Bay.
This is a stretch play to the right. He reads the cutback block. You see how the wall of offensive linemen creates him. He's quick enough to be able to bounce back in the hole and get vertical for the first down.
He's got the most rushing yards after contact in the NFL.
And when you look at it from a stature standpoint, Ian, you wouldn't consider that, but you're right. He is leading the league after contact.
5'9", 223, and there it is again. Doug Martin, powerful lower body, turns that into a 5-yard pickup. Mankins and Hawley providing some space.
Watch the cut he makes as he's going. He wants to take this play to the left. See, Brockers gets into the backfield. He's able to make that jump cut, get into the hole, and pick up the first down.
Injuries each of the last 2 years. Everybody we talked to on St. Louis said, hey, Martin looks like the guy we saw his rookie year. Martin again. Out to midfield for 5. Hit down low by Aaron Donald. First-round draft pick out of Boise State back in 2012. He goes for 1,454 yards in his first season, 11 rushing touchdowns, and then the injuries hit. 2013, the torn labrum, limited to 6 games. Banged up last year, never got on track. And this year, Martin has been one of the elite running backs in the game. It's been all Martin so far for Tampa Bay. 6 offensive linemen again, play for him. Winston to throw it, too high. And Winston took a shot. Mike Evans in the area, and it's Aaron Donald, who had 3 sacks last week in that win over Detroit. Now 11 on the season with the pressure. And
Aaron Donald just one-on-one with Ali Marpet. He's able to throw him away. He's trying to get a play-action pass. As you said, Ian, 5 straight rushing plays, getting to a play-action pass. Donald not allowing Winston to step into his throw.
A dime package now for St. Louis with LaMarcus Joyner in there. This is a 3rd and 5. Charles Sims checks in on 3rd down. Play clock's down to 1. Winston sets and fires, incomplete. Looking for Mike Evans. This time Winston felt the heat from Akeem Ayers, and the Buccaneers will punt.
Well, defensive coordinator Greg Williams for the Rams likes to bring pressure. They have 36 sacks on the year by 14 different players, so he brings different combinations of pressures, whether it be from linebackers or secondary.
So the dangerous Tavon Austin, the return man. Jacob Shum, first year out of Buffalo, kicks it away for Tampa Bay. Fair catch called for. Austin brings it in cleanly at the 14. It's a 36-yard punt. The Rams have a 7-0 lead. They've got the football when we come back to St. Louis. Sunday at 9 on NFL Network. Giant star receiver Odell Beckham Jr. reveals the secret to his success. NFL Game Day Morning. That's live Sunday at 9 only on NFL Network. Well, Jameis Winston has been working with first-year offensive coordinator Dirk Cutter, longtime NFL coach, but his first year with Tampa Bay. And that relationship has been very strong. Cutter's very demanding, and Winston has responded to his style. And off to Gurley. Buccaneers ready for him. They limit Gurley to a gain of 2 on the play. 8.5 to play in this first quarter. St. Louis has got a 7-0 lead on Tampa Bay.
Well, I like what the Rams did in that first series. They got the ball out of Case Keenum's hands quickly. Everything was quick to the flat. One was a wide receiver screen that ultimately ended in the touchdown pass for Tavon Austin. But they're not putting a lot of pressure trying to push the ball up the field. But if Gurley continues to have success running the ball, you're going to see some play-action passes and trying to extend the field.
Gurley mentioned in our sit-down that the game has really slowed down for him. He's gotten used to the protections, everything that comes with playing running back at this level. Penalty.
False start. Offense, number 73. 5-yard penalty. Still second down.
So veteran referee Jerome Boger announcing that Greg Robinson was called on the false start. 12 consecutive non-winning seasons for the Rams. That is tied with Oakland for the longest active streak in the league. And there was a stretch early in the season where St. Louis looked like they had promise. Some big wins. Seattle, Arizona. Sixth most penalized team in the NFL. It's Gurley. With a head of steam, takes it to the 15. Met by Golston. It's another 3-yard gain. So the Rams were 4-3, Trent. And looking at the resume, everything was pointing upwards for Jeff Fisher. Todd Gurley, the real deal. You could tell right away once he got into the starting lineup in week 4, but the quarterback position, that has been the problem for St. Louis.
Yeah, they're last in the National Football League in passing, and that's been a real problem and a real concern. And that's why the change was made at offensive coordinator and why the change was made at starting quarterback, going from Foles to Keenum.
Benny Cunningham is now in. Keenum, who was prolific at the University of Houston. In trouble? That ball got deflected, but it's incomplete. Chris Conti was over there.
Tampa Bay stacks 7 guys at the line of scrimmage, and they bring all 7. Not enough guys to stay in and protect for Keenum as he tries flushing out of the pocket and just gets rid of it. Spots Benny Cunningham and is able to dump it off and not get the intentional grounding.
Bobby Rainey is the return man. Johnny Hecker, what a season he's put together. 48.5 yards per punt. High kick. Rainey waiting for it. St. Louis gets down the field in a hurry. And Tampa Bay will have it after the 46-yard punt. Winston will get his second look at this St. Louis defense. Buccaneers down 7-0 first quarter. Next Gen Stats brought to you by Go 90. Watch the NFL on the go with Go 90. Go 90 to watch, cut, and share all the awesome. 7-0 lead for St. Louis. Tampa Bay takes over with a 1st and 10 at its own 39-yard line. Martin got the call on the first 5 plays of the opening possession for Tampa Bay. It's a little toss for Humphreys. Rookie out of Clemson angles towards the sideline for 11 as we check in. Down to the field and Evan Washburn.
Well, and a big part of Jameis Winston's development is managing the emotions at game day, and that becomes a huge thing in a primetime game in the NFL, his first in the NFL. And he told us last night he's going to tap into an experience of 2 weeks ago in Atlanta where he felt like he pushed things playing in front of family and friends. He knows he has to be the even-keeled part of this young offense, guys.
They give it up to Doug Martin, and Martin accelerates across the 40-yard line. It's a first down for the Buccaneers. That's an 11-yard gain for Doug Martin.
Well, I like what Dirk Cutter has decided to do from a play calling standpoint coming out in this second possession, going a little more up-tempo now, going at the line of scrimmage, calling things, but getting the ball out of Jameis's hands quickly as he got it to the flat on first down and then had the effective run on second down.
So Tampa Bay is on the move inside the 40. Martin sticks the helmet down and takes it to the 35. Ethan Westbrook's in on that stop. The recurring theme when we sat down with the Buccaneers, playoffs, that came up over and over again. So they believe they're still in it. And the other P word, primetime. The idea that the rest of the league could see them and some of their young players here tonight.
Well, and Lovie Smith, as we take a look right there, he likes the talent that he has, the young talent that he has. He thinks it's a good opportunity to showcase some of that young talent here tonight.
And that includes the former Heisman Trophy winner, Jameis Winston, working out of the gun on 2nd and 6. Winston, that's a high throw for a 5'9" running back. Martin, incomplete.
He just gets this ball too high, trying to get it out of his hands. You can see Worthington jumping up, trying to knock it down. That affects that throw and causes him to sail it.
Winston was an outstanding pitcher at Florida State. He was drafted by the Texas Rangers in the 15th round of 2012. That would be a wild pitch.
Just a bit off.
And a 5-receiver set for Bob Uecker. Shotgun, Winston unloads, some separation, but too high. Mike Evans the intended target, and now Tampa Bay's in no man's land. They would be looking at a 53-yard field goal for Connor Barth. That's his long this season.
When the Rams decide to go cover 0 with no safety in the middle of the field, man-to-man across the board, so you have 4 guys in man-to-man rushing the other 7, taking the chance they'll get to Winston before he can make an accurate throw upfield, and it paid off.
And they send Barth onto the field, the 8-year veteran, in his second stint with Tampa Bay from 53 yards away. Buccaneers trying to get on the board. Barth, he knocks it through. 53-yarder with some room to spare. St. Louis up on the Bucs, 7-3. Ball is brought to you by Papa John's. 2 large, 2-topping pizzas for just $7.77 each. Everyone will love that. And by Jared, the Galleria of Jewelry. Coming today for the one piece of jewelry that will take her breath away. Well, you got some Pirates in attendance and a holiday spirit. 7-3, St. Louis leading Tampa Bay. It is a strange situation here in St. Louis with the potential that this could be the final home game for the Rams ever in this city. And you just don't know how this situation is going to play out. Understand Kroenke hoping to move the franchise to Los Angeles. There could be a relocation. The Chargers and Raiders also interested. Cunningham on the return, and he is stopped short of the 20-yard line by Bobby Rainey on special teams. Tomorrow at 9 on NFL Network. Traded away in his prime, he would become the centerpiece of the Rams Super Bowl title. A Football Life, Marshall Faulk. That's tomorrow at 9 only on NFL Network.
One of the best football players I had an opportunity to play with is, I call him 2-8, just to keep it simple. But I take a look at Marshall with Aeneas Williams over there on the sidelines.
The versatility.
Just he could do everything, and he was so smart and understood the offense, understood protections, and he was like this guy in the open field who could make guys miss.
Tavon Austin, electrifying when the ball was in his hands. 15 yards. Net by Brad McDougald with the stop.
Just the around to Austin, the play fake to the left to get the defense off balance. Once again, another missed tackle in the open field for Tampa Bay, allowing Austin to pick up the big yard.
It was Conti who whiffed. Austin is just not your traditional wide receiver, multi-dimensional. First down for the Rams. They've got a 7-3 lead. Trey Mason is in. And Mason taking it on the cut to the outside to the 40. Lansana had a chance to bring him down initially. Mason veered for a gain of 7.
Watch Mason as he comes through. Defensive end gets too far up the field. He's not able to cut back and make that tackle. Another effective run for the Rams.
Mason remains in there. He's got shifty moves in his second year out of Auburn. 2 tight ends in this formation, Cook and Kendricks for St. Louis. From the 40 on a 2nd and 3. Keenum airs it out. Oh, he drops it in the bucket. Kenny Britt is gone. Touchdown, St. Louis. A flag is down on the play.
I think they're going to get an illegal bump on Tampa Bay, as that was a double move.
While the quarterback was in the pocket, illegal contact. Defense, number 38. That penalty is declined. The result of the play, touchdown.
I.J. Barima called on the penalty. It is irrelevant. 60 yards on the rainbow delivery.
You can see the contact after 5 yards. Britt with the double move, just a little stutter step to freeze the secondary. Keenum has thrown everything underneath. The majority of his throws have been short throws underneath. That time taking a shot up the field, taking full advantage of it.
Longest play of the season for Britt. Extra point from Zerline. It's 14-3. St. Louis. Case Keenum going up top to Kenny Britt. He played for Fisher in Tennessee. Keenum on the connection. Cam is being presented by Mazda. Here at the Edward Jones Dome in St. Louis, opened up back in 1995. Whether or not there will be a team here next year remains to be seen. Still a lot that has to be sorted out. A lot of smiles along that St. Louis sideline with the touchdown from Austin, followed up by a touchdown from Britt. Rainey waiting for the kick from Zerline. It's 14-3 St. Louis. Rainey's not taking it out. Buccaneers will have it at the 20-yard line.
Going back to the touchdown, the Rams are going to keep 8 guys in protection. Here is just a stutter and go. Both sides are stutter and go. It's just a two-man route for Case Keenum. He says, you know what? I've got a rookie over here in I.J. Barima going against Kenny Britt. Rookies are going to bite on plays like that, trying to make a big play in prime time. Kenny Britt gets the touchdown, hands the ball off to a young fan in the stands. Rams on top, 14-3.
The Buccaneers, in all of their wins this season, have had to come from behind to get the victory. All 6. Hand off to Martin, playing with 6 offensive linemen. Pam Fields in again, met by Michael Brockers. It's a 4-yard pickup for Martin.
Well, I think it's important that the Buccaneers not get caught up in the score right now. It's still early in the game. They've been running the ball effectively with Martin. Winston really still hasn't gotten into rhythm. Only 1 of 5 for 11 yards. That throw, that completion was an underneath route. Everything else has been trying to push it up the field. I'd like to see Dirk Cutter get him some quick throws, get the ball out of his hand, and get him into some kind of rhythm.
Martin has 49 of Tampa Bay's 60 total yards so far. It's Martin again, slicing across the 25. And that's a gain of 3. Sets up third and manageable here for the Buccaneers. Rodney McLeod with a tackle for St. Louis. So Martin will head to the sideline. Charles Sims plays on 3rd downs. Excellent receiver. 36 catches, 393 yards in his 2nd year from West Virginia. Motion man is Brate. It's a 4-receiver set for Tampa Bay on a 3rd and 3. Rush coming. Winston gets rid of it. Incomplete. Major rush from the Rams.
Well, this is the confusion that they caused with the pass rush. Winston, before the snap, points out to his left and has the line slide to the left because it appears before the snap of the ball that that's where the pressure is going to come from. So when Winston signals everybody to go that way, that allows the free rusher off the edge.
Boger threw the late flag. Could be an intentional grounding there as Winston was just trying to get rid of it as he was going down. Maurice Alexander, Eugene Sims in the face of Winston.
Contact, intentional grounding. Offense, number 3. 10-yard penalty. Loss of down. 4th down.
You'll see the grounding here. Winston, see how he points out to the left. He thinks they're going to rush off the edge. The problem is they drop into coverage and they bring pressure this way. So that's what allows the Rams to get the pressure in there quickly because he slides that way, ends up getting a grounding call as he's trying to get rid of the ball.
So St. Louis already up 14-3. Should have excellent field position here after the Shum punt to Tavon Austin waiting at the 37. Comes off the side of the foot, but does take a Buccaneers roll. And it'll settle in at the 31. 52-yard punt for Shum. Right now, let's look at Next Gen Stats presented by Go 90.
Long throw from Case Keenum to Kenny Britt. The double move on the outside gets over 20 miles per hour getting into the end zone.
And that could get you a ticket in a 15-mile-per-hour zone.
I don't think you and I running combined together can get 20 miles per hour.
You know, I've never really time myself.
Although, yeah, I know. That's, yeah, I guess I should assume that. Right?
I could be like a cheetah. You have no idea. Tavon Austin is in the backfield. Keenum sets up, throws over the middle. He's got a big target in Britt. Out across the 40-yard line, good for 11 yards. And St. Louis doing as it pleases on the offensive end.
Just the misdirection and the bootleg coming out to the right. Britt dragging over from the backside, finding that window over the middle between the linebackers. Case Keenum's like, I know you guys tuned in tonight to see Jameis Winston, but don't forget about me. He's 5 of 6 for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns, so he's starting off this game hot.
On 1st and 10, Gurley will get the call. And picks up a yard and a half on the play. You know, with Keenum, we asked him about the future and this opportunity. And he said, look, I'm not guaranteed anything. That's why I approach every game like it's my last. I'm not thinking about what can happen down the road. I'm just trying to give every game the attention it deserves. That's his mentality.
Well, and that's the right attitude to have. When you've been signed and released a couple times like he has between St. Louis and Houston back and forth, and now you're getting another opportunity to start now in his 4th year, this is a huge opportunity for him, not only to showcase himself for the Rams, but to showcase himself for the rest of the National Football League.
It's a 2nd and 8 for St. Louis. We're down to 18 seconds left in the first. Gurley makes a cut across the 45. And Keith Tandy is there defensively for Tampa Bay. 3-yard pickup for Gurley. That'll be the final play of this opening quarter. St. Louis fireworks on offense.
End of the first quarter.
14-3, the Rams leading the Buccaneers. We'll come back to the Gateway City after these messages. You're watching Thursday Night Football. Case Keenum on multiple screens. This is a look from our Skycam booth here in St. Louis. Keenum, 118 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first quarter, and he's moving St. Louis again.
He's been very effective getting the ball out of his hands quickly in the underneath throws, and then last time on the long touchdown, it was leaving max protection, getting the play fake, and hitting Britt in stride.
Making his 13th NFL start. Keenum sets, and he's incomplete. Bradley Marquez, the intended receiver, rookie out of Texas Tech, brings up 4th down for the Rams. Ian Eagle, Trent Green, Evan Washburn down on the sidelines, and the rest of our crew here on NFL Network. Thursday Night Football. St. Louis enters action at 5-8. Buccaneers are 6-7. 2 games out of the final playoff spot in the NFC. The punt from Hecker. Takes a bounce. Good coverage downfield. They'll down it inside the 5. Buccaneers pinned deep in their own territory. Johnny Hecker perfectly placed. 49-yard punt.
Evan talked to us early in the first quarter about Jameis Winston being too hyped up for the game and how he was going to handle the national stage. I think it has more to do with the Rams defense and the amount of pressure they've been able to put on him. He's not getting the ball out of his hands quickly enough. Most of the throws are down the field. He's not allowed to be comfortable as we take a look at the quarterback comparison.
Well, it's been
not
no
the way that
comparison.
Jameis wanted it to start off.
1 of 6 in this first half for Winston. Martin gets hit as he crosses the 5. A flag is down at the 2. Luke Stocker with a block up front for Martin. 4-yard pickup.
Illegal formation. Offense. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Half the distance to the goal. Replay, first down.
Tampa Bay leads the NFL in penalties. 125 coming into this week. They had 8 last week against New Orleans.
Here's Sherlis on the right side. That's where they're going to have him. He's going to be the one called for being too far in the backfield, so not enough guys on the line of scrimmage.
Back it up to the 2. Martin leans forward and crosses the 5 for a 4-yard gain. LaMarcus Joyner in there for St. Louis. Just underway here in this second quarter. A loss tonight by the Buccaneers and wins by Seattle and Minnesota would eliminate Tampa Bay from playoff contention. Meanwhile, St. Louis has played well at home, 4-3. Victories over Seattle, Cleveland, San Francisco, and Detroit, but 1-5 on the road for the Rams. That lone victory coming at Arizona. Second and 8. Martin remains in there. Winston to throw it on a quick hitter to Evans. And Mike Evans, they swarm to the ball after the catch. 7-yard gain. Tremaine Johnson, who had a big game last week, locking down Calvin Johnson of Detroit, makes the hit.
1-9, that's a quick throw. 3-step drop, get the slant. Johnson was playing off in coverage on Evans. Good recognition by Winston, making the completion, making this. They have yet to convert a third down, but now this is their shortest third down they've had all night.
Tampa Bay has had the third fewest 3-and-outs this season. Arizona the fewest. Minnesota second on that list. Trying to avoid it here. They do. Martin up the middle. They needed it. 5-yard gain for Martin. They'll move the chains for Tampa Bay.
Overloading the right side and then pulling both guys underneath, allowing that counter action for Martin to get through the middle.
He's actually closing in on the franchise record for rushing yards in a season. It's held by James Wilder, set back in 1984. Martin came in 341 yards away, so certainly attainable in the final 3 games of the season for Martin. 2 set of downs for Tampa Bay to work with. Fake the handoff. Winston fires. Incomplete. You had 2 receivers in the area. Safarian Jenkins, the tight end, being one of them.
Well, and once again, Winston not being allowed to sit in the pocket, take his time and step into the throw under pressure from the Rams. Having to get rid of the ball quickly, that doesn't allow you to get that front foot into it. You can see he's more protecting himself once he lays that ball out there. That's been a problem for the Buccaneers all night.
They come in number 11 in total offense, 364 yards per game. They have only 17 passing yards in the first half. It's a pitch. Martin. Boy, Martin is a spark plug. Turns that into an 8-yard gain. The patience of Martin, he allowed Fairley to go by, and then Martin shoots it through there for an excellent gain.
How he was able to convert that and get that many yards. When you see the flow of the defense and the pressure of the defense, it looks like contain is there, yet he finds a crease on the inside and able to pick up the yard. 12
carries, 70 yards for Martin. He has been the Buccaneers offense. It's 3rd and 2 now for Tampa Bay. The fullback is in there, Javorsky Lane. Fake it. On the toss, Mike Evans has the first down. Not across the 35-yard line. That's a 10-yard pickup. Evans had 0 targets in the first half last week. He finished with 3 catches for 39 yards. Remember, no Vincent Jackson because of a second quarter knee injury, sprained MCL last week.
And what tremendous poise by Jameis Winston. Underneath pressure, he tries getting the play fake, getting out to the flat. That's covered. Tries getting the tight end. That's covered. Has to jump in the air and get the jump throw to Evans for the first down as he's getting knocked to the ground by Donald.
And Winston came up limping just a bit after that hit from Aaron Donald. First down for the Buccaneers. Strong throw by Winston. Feeding it to Evans. They are in St. Louis territory, out near the 45. Evans protecting the ball, made sure that one was clean. 19-yard gain.
Yeah, and you're right, Evan. I'm keeping an eye on Jameis right now. After that throw up the field, I was watching him as he moved forward to get into huddle position. He's still limping, so after that hit by Aaron Donald, it's had an effect on him. Didn't have an effect on the throw, but may have an effect on him.
He's got a strong arm. Now there's no denying that from Winston. On a gift for Sims. Sims a little shake and bake move. And a first down across the 35. Joyner looping around on defense. That's a 13-yard pickup by Sims.
They're able to get the Rams defense to overflow, going to the right. That counter action by Winston brought the defense over there, and then with the blockers out front, able to pick up 13 yards.
So Tampa Bay finally has something going here. Line of scrimmage is now the 32. This is the 9th play of the drive for the Buccaneers. We're down to 9:38 to play in the first half. Sims remains in there, gets the call. Brought down the backfield by Donald. Loss of 3 on the play. Mark Barron, the initial pressure, and then Donald on the wrap-up.
When they tried getting the block, you can see Stocker comes over trying to get the chip on Barron, just not there in time, slowing Sims down and allowing the Rams to make the tackle in the backfield.
Well, Greg Williams knows what he's got on that defensive line with Aaron Donald, NFC Defensive Player of the Week. 11 sacks in his second season from Pittsburgh. Went to the Pro Bowl as a rookie. Shotgun, Winston. Zings it into Humphreys, who curls for a gain of 7. Humphreys, free agent, signed out of Clemson. He shows up. Lovie Smith doesn't know him, doesn't know his name, and he just kept making plays in training camp. And finally, Lovie's like, well, who's that guy?
Yeah,
why is he burning the defense?
who's the guy that keeps making plays? So that's the way when you're an unknown guy, you got to do that to catch the coach's eyes, and he's continued to do it all season.
On a 3rd and 6, Winston hangs in there, out of the pocket. Winston using his legs. Winston brought down hard. Combination of Johnson and Laurinaitis. And just a little bit short. Winston doesn't like the spot.
Well, I don't know if he doesn't like the spot or doesn't like the hit, but he's got to remember when he's outside of the pocket, he's a running back when he's out in the open field, so there's no protection at that point.
Well, they're still drawing back and forth. There was the hit. Yeah, I would agree with you. I think he didn't like the hit more than the spot.
Well, and there's a little shoving going on. Winston was involved with it.
They got to be careful here with the play clock. It's down to 2. And they didn't realize it. Flag is down.
Delay of game. Timeout. Tampa Bay. They're first. This is a 30-second timeout.
Well, he called both a timeout and a delay game, so I'm not.
I think Lovie Smith is looking for an explanation right now. And this was the extracurricular as Winston exchanged words with Trumaine Johnson, then got pushed by Donald from behind. Safarian Jenkins got in there to support his quarterback, but then Winston and Donald came together again. So they're staring at a 4th and 1 or a 40 to 41 yard field goal right now. They have a little time to talk about it. What do you do, Trent, if you're Lovie Smith and the Buccaneers?
Well, I think knowing Greg Williams, he's going to stack everybody near the box or in that box. He's going to try and force the hand of the Buccaneers to try and make a play up the field. So why not get a play action pass, try and take one of it? You got a big receiver out there. Throw it up to Mike Evans. Get a play action pass. Put it up to Mike Evans if indeed the Rams do stack everything at the line of scrimmage.
4th and a yard for Tampa Bay. 7.5 to go in this second quarter. 6 offensive linemen for the Buccaneers. Martin in the backfield. Gets the call. Martin thrown down. Aaron Donald cannot be stopped. It's a loss of 2 on the play. And Tampa Bay comes up empty. 12 plays. They go 71 yards. The Buccaneers have nothing to show for it. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Courtyard. Get ready for Super Bowl 50 at Courtyard, the official hotel of the NFL. And by the Lincoln Wish List event. Visit your Lincoln showroom today. Frustration from Jameis Winston after the run that came up short. And the play of Aaron Donald on 4th down, bringing down Doug Martin. That's the only running play Martin has had tonight that went for negative yardage. 14-3, St. Louis in front. Rams take over at the 25. Play fake, Keenan finds a soft spot and connects with Austin. Out near the 40-yard line. That's another first down, covering 13 yards for the Rams.
Rams getting to play action pass once again, getting that underneath coverage to bite up on the play fake. Austin finding the window in between the safety and the linebacker. Keenum with the accurate throw.
Fourth straight season these teams are meeting. Jeff Fisher has liked what he's seen so far. In fact, Rams have beaten the Buccaneers 3 straight. Gurley, spin move. Tampa Bay gets to Gurley. It's a loss on the play. Ori Lemon leading the charge for the Buccaneers. Loss of 3.
See Gurley as he tries to bounce this to the outside. Lemon in position. Once he gets him wrapped up, the other guys respond and bring him down for the loss. Gurley
came in 25 yards away from 1,000. That loss gives him 17 yards in the first half. 2nd and 13. Keenum over the middle. Kendricks with the catch. Across the 40-yard line, he's brought down by Levante David, the linebacker. That covers 8 yards, and it's 3rd down for the Rams.
Well, that's an offensive play that you attack the Tampa 2 when you get the 2 safeties getting deep and that middle linebacker getting deep. There's always a void in the middle of the defense. So when you spread things out with the four receivers, Kendricks being the tight end in the middle of the field, you can go up there and sit down. Good quick throw by Keenum getting it out of his hands.
One issue for Tampa Bay defensively, last 3 games, just 1 takeaway. That's the lowest total in the NFL over that span. It's a 3rd and 5 for St. Louis. 4 receivers set. Benny Cunningham is in. Keenum. On time. Jared Cook with a sliding grab and a first down. Working against Major Wright. 17 yards into Tampa Bay territory.
And that's an unbelievable throw under pressure as Cook is running an out route. Keenum not having much of a look at it, drops it over the top of the corner and gets it on the far sideline. Incredible placement there. That's one of the toughest throws you can make as a quarterback. You have to get it up over the top of the underneath coverage, but yet get it down in time before you hit the boundary.
First down at the 40. Gurley is back in. Motion man is Wes Welker, the veteran. Keenum dumps it off. Gurley the catch. Gurley, stutter step move across the 30. 12-yard pickup through the air. Keenum, he has been very sharp in this first half for St. Louis.
Well, I like what offensive coordinator Rob Boris is doing to getting the ball out of his hands quickly when they decide to take shots. It's off a play action pass. That time catching the Buccaneers in a blitz from the left side. He has a screen called to the right, set up perfectly.
Keenum was acquired for a 7th-round pick from Houston. Loose set of downs for St. Louis inside the Tampa Bay 30. Back to the ground game. Gurley caught from behind. Looked like that one could go 3 yards. And flags come down. Greg Robinson was in the middle of that. There was a late push after the play was over.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 92. Half the distance to the goal, first down.
Yeah, that's what it was. William Golston, he got tied up with Robinson and then tried to kick his way out of it.
Well, Ian, going back to the last possession by the Buccaneers, the push and shoving that was going on with Jameis Winston and Aaron Donald, this could just be the officials trying to get things under control. I don't think that was a 15-yard penalty. Yes, there was some action going on, but I think based on what happened before, that was more the officials just trying to take control of things.
Courtney Brown is now in for Golston after the penalty. 1st and 10, just shy of the 12 of Tampa Bay. Gurley through the middle. Tried to squeeze through that hole and picks up 2 yards on the play. Levante David in on the stop for the Buccaneers. Down to 3:25 and counting left in this first half.
Rams have done a good job possessing the ball, getting the first downs, taking the shots when they have the shots, but just the play calling in general and what they've been able to do from an offensive standpoint, they really have the Buccaneers defense on their heels.
On 2nd and 8, Keenum into traffic. Jared Cook remains on his feet, and the Buccaneers would not let him get to the end zone. Strong effort by the veteran tight end Cook.
Once again, Cook, the tight end, taking advantage of that cover 2 look. You're going to find some windows in between the linebackers. That's a timing throw between Keenum and Cook. As Cook's coming out of the route, Keenum's able to put it on as you see him trying to push the pile for the first down.
At some point, 6 different defenders got to Cook and could not bring him down. 3rd and less than a yard. 2 tight ends in this formation. Give it to Gurley. Gurley extending for the goal line. Touchdown. Todd Gurley. That puts him at 1,000 yards on the button in his rookie season.
Danny Lansana comes into the backfield and is not able to wrap up Gurley and make the tackle. I'm sure this will be reviewed to see if the ball breaks the plane. You see his hip hit and the ball broke the plane. This should be confirmed as a touchdown.
All scoring plays are reviewed. They are checking it out. Gurley is hoping for his 9th touchdown of the season. And the 3rd Ram rookie ever to crack 1,000 yards on the ground. It's confirmed as a touchdown for Gurley. And Zerline on for the extra point. St. Louis taking care of business at home, if this remains their home. 21-3. The Rams all over the Buccaneers in the first half. Thursday Night Football, 4 to come. Todd Gurley was just a little more than a year ago, that torn ACL at Georgia. Bounces back from that as the number 10 overall pick. And you could see the speed and power from Gurley. Once he got the starting nod, the Rams offense changed dramatically. Zerline kicks it off. Bobby Rainey is deep. And he's not going to take it out of the end zone. Tampa Bay will have it at the 20. They are in a 21-3 hole. 2:09 to play in the second quarter. The rookie, Gurley, extending the lead. NFL Network, the Jets continue their playoff push against the Cowboys. And then next Thursday, the Chargers meet the Raiders. A classic AFC West rivalry is renewed. 2 big showdowns only on NFL Network. St. Louis 21, Tampa Bay 3. We've got 2:09 remaining in this first half. Winston did not receive any treatment after he was limping a bit on the previous series. 1 of 6 to start. 4 of his last 5 through the air for Winston. Charles Sims is in there for Tampa Bay. They toss it to him. Ball pops loose. And it was already down. Maurice Alexander over there. And a loss of 4 on the play. Buccaneers struggling in St. Louis. Lexus halftime report. Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, Michael Irvin will break down all of the first half action. Deep thoughts with Rich, Steve, and Michael. You say, well, where's Kurt Warner? Where's Marshall Faulk? They're not going to be joining them at the half. They're being honored by the team at the break. So they get halftime off here tonight on NFL Network. Running play to Sims. Spilled out. No gain on the play. Maurice Alexander, local product. What a story. Alexander out of Eureka High School. A college linebacker at Utah State. He was thrown off the team, had to come back to St. Louis and then make some money to get his spot back in college. Worked as a janitor here at the Edward Jones Dome to earn enough money to go back to Utah State and then finish up his career and make enough of a mark to get to the NFL. Running play again, and nothing there. Aaron Donald is all world.
Well, St. Louis gets a quick timeout. They had 3 timeouts. Wasn't sure what they were doing after second down, why they didn't call the timeout. But now they'll have 2 once they get the ball back on offense as we take a look at Aaron Donald here in the first half. You want to know why he's being considered Defensive Player of the Year? He's been the focal point for the Buccaneers, but yet continually making plays in the backfield, both on the run and putting pressure on Jameis Winston.
Well, we asked him, who'd you watch as you were developing? He said, a lot of Geno Atkins when I was in college. He really stood out, and I could relate to the position he was playing. The punt from Shum. Austin moves forward, and St. Louis is going to have over a minute to work with in Tampa Bay territory after the 35-yard punt. 21-3, the Rams in front of the Buccaneers, and they're looking for more. Fans, order your holiday gifts from NFLShop.com today. Get free shipping at the official store of the NFL, NFLShop.com. Winston, 6 of 12, 49 yards. Case Keenum, 10 of 12, 175 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half. Working out of the gun from the 49 with a minute 10 remaining. Keenum in the pocket, throws. It's not. Almost intercepted. Danny Lansana had it on his hands.
Lansana goes to undercut Cook on the quick out. Reads it perfectly, just not able to bring the interception in.
2nd and 10.
Lansana, undrafted free agent back in 2008. Played in the UFL. Was with Green Bay and the Jets. Almost had the pick for Tampa Bay. Instead, Keenum faces a 2nd and 10. Rolling around. Keenum takes a big loss on the play. Back at the 39-yard line, combination of Jones and Melton. A loss of 12.
Well, and that's the first mistake Case Keenum has made tonight. You figure they only needed about 5 yards to get into Zerline's field goal range. By throwing the ball away there, they would have put them. Now all of a sudden they're back here. You don't need to use the timeout, and as the clock continues to wind.
Gerald McCoy in there for Tampa Bay, and down to 25 seconds left in this first half. Handed off, Benny Cunningham. Brought down by Lansana.
Well, and Tampa Bay still has 2 timeouts, not calling the timeout on their own. You have to understand they have the ball coming out first in the second half, so I think they're just trying to get through this half, regroup at halftime.
So we hit the break in St. Louis. 21-3. The Rams in front of the Buccaneers. Lexus Halftime Report is coming up. Rich Eisen, Steve Mariucci, Michael Irvin will break down all of the first half action coming up from St. Louis. Let's send it downstairs to Evan Washburn.
All right, thanks, Coach. When Aaron Donald's winning his matchup inside like that, what's it allow you to do defensively?
Well, it allows us to jump routes, and, he's winning the matchup and getting pressure, but we're not playing the run very well. That's an outstanding rushing offense and an outstanding back. We got to get that fixed. Fortunately, we're up by some points now, so we take the run game away. But, I'm pleased with the offense. We got some points finally in the first half, so we just got to play better defense.
Coach, thank you.
All right, thank you.
All right, Evan, thanks. End of the first half. The Rams 21, the Buccaneers 3. We'll come back. The Lexus Halftime Report is coming up from the Edward Jones Dome. You're watching Thursday Night Football. Thrown down, Aaron Donald cannot be stopped. Keenum airs it out. Oh, he drops it in the bucket. Kenny Britt is gone. Touchdown, St. Louis. Getting ready for second half action here in St. Louis. 21-3, the Rams on top of the Buccaneers. Let's check the first half performance moment. It's presented by Mobile One. Keenum to Britt. That double move by Britt leads to the touchdown. He then gives his daughter Ava the football after taking it to the end zone. Keenum and the Rams offense clicking in the first half. Welcome back to the broadcast booth, everybody. Ian Eagle along with Trent Green. Buccaneers last week going into that game against New Orleans, 6-6. They were talking about maybe making a playoff run, this young Tampa Bay team. They didn't look like a playoff team last week. They have not looked like a playoff team in the first half here. What has to change for the Buccaneers?
Well, I think for offensively for the Buccaneers, what they need to continue running the football. Yeah. Doug Martin had a very effective half running the football. With Jameis Winston, you need to get the ball out of his hands quickly. He's taking too many hits in the backfield, not only the sacks, but it's the hits after throw. They're trying to push the ball up the field too much. They need to get some quicker throws and don't have him take those kind of hits.
So Lovie Smith, who felt good about this matchup. Smith has a history here in St. Louis himself. Was the defensive coordinator for 3 seasons under Mike Martz. 3 points in the first half tonight. That is tied for the lowest total that they've had in a first half this season when they went up against the Dallas Cowboys. Tampa Bay will have the ball to start this third quarter. Zuerlein kicks it off to Bobby Rainey. Start of the second half here in St. Louis. Buccaneers will have it at the 20. Let's send it down to the sidelines and Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, Lovie Smith admitted that was a bad half of football for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but he feels like this drive can be important in trying to gain some momentum, some positive energy for this team. And Trent asked for protecting Jameis Winston with a quick passing game. I asked him specifically about it. He said you can look for that here in this second half, but he feels like this first drive just gets something positive and this team can get going. Guys?
And Evan, something that the Buccaneers talked about, getting this opportunity in prime time. They were embarrassed last year on a Thursday night, week 3 in Atlanta. They got hammered 56-14. 49 passing yards for Winston in the first half. They put it in the air. First play of the third quarter connects with Luke Stocker, the tight end out of Tennessee, hit by Mark Barron on the play. 7.5-yard pickup. 4.3 yards per play for Tampa Bay in the first half. St. Louis just under 8 yards per clip.
When you can see Tampa Bay right there, 49 yards passing in the first half. Not very effective at all pushing the ball up the field. That's on with the play action pass and Jameis hitting the check down.
Safarian Jenkins and Stocker, double tight end set, give it to Martin. And Martin has enough for the first down across the 30-yard line for a pickup of 5. Ethan Westbrook's in there defensively for the Rams.
Well, and that's what we've seen continually throughout the night, Ian, is the number of defenders that are around the ball. They don't want Doug Martin. You brought up the fact early in the first half that he's number 1 in the NFL in yards after contact. He's able to get through there and get those extra yards, but the Rams aren't allowing it with the gang tackles.
Last meeting between these two teams, September 14th last year, a 1917 win for St. Louis. Zuerlein hit a 38-yard field goal with 38 seconds left. That was the difference. Winston. It's a little too high for Mike Evans. Martin has 72 yards rushing here today, and he is leading the NFL in rushing. Adrian Peterson currently number 2, and there's Todd Gurley with 1,001 yards on the season. He didn't start until week 4 for St. Louis.
Well, once again, the Buccaneers trying to take a big play up the field, having Jameis Winston sit in the pocket as he gets hit once again, making a throw.
On a 2nd and 10, Stocker the motion man. It's a pitch. And nothing there for Martin. Picks up a yard. Aaron Donald down low.
They're going to get Janoris Jenkins for the Rams with a personal foul, 15-yarder with the late hit after the whistle.
So 2 flags thrown.
After the play was over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, Defense, number 21. 15-yard penalty, automatic, first down.
Tampa Bay was staring at a 3rd and 9. The penalty on Jenkins gives the Buccaneers a first down and moves the football out near midfield.
Well, that may be the spark that the Buccaneers need because they haven't been very effective moving the football. That gives them the ball near midfield after that big penalty.
Number 4 rushing team in the NFL at over 141 yards per game. Winston with a flag down, throws it, complete. Mike Evans, good hands on the play. Out of bounds at the 26 penalty marker at the 48 on Tampa Bay's end of the field. And it looks like it's coming back.
Illegal formation, offense, only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, replay, first down.
Well, penalties have been part of the story throughout the season for this Buccaneers squad. Tonight, 4 for 29 yards. So 1st and 15 now for the Buccaneers. A bootleg. Winston flicks it upfield. And it's Mike Evans. "18 yards on the hookup." There's a clean.
Looks like he gets both toes down, keeps control of the ball to the ground. The challenge flag does come out by Fisher.
Jeff Fisher was on the other side of the field.
St. Louis is challenging the rule on the field of a completed catch at the sideline.
Ruled a clean catch for Evans. And Boger will take a look at it. We're coming back. You buy Lexus. Turn every ride into a thrill ride with the Lexus Performance line. And by Nike. The future is fast. Gear up at Nike.com. Jerome Boger took a look at the replay of Mike Evans. Looked clean from our perspective where he got both feet down,
and he maintained control.
Yep.
After reviewing the play, the rule on the field is confirmed as a completed catch at the sideline. St. Louis is charged its first time out of the second half.
They confirm it as a catch. We got a good look at it, and that's good toe work there by Evans.
And the important thing is here is he maintained control. The ball doesn't move at all. Even though he's holding it in one hand, I don't suggest you do that, but he was able to squeeze the ball enough that you didn't see any movement whatsoever in the ball when he went to the ground.
They actually moved the ball 2 yards up. So I'm not sure what they saw on replay. Line of scrimmage is now the 37 for Tampa Bay. And they'll spread it with 5 receivers. Winston hooks a pass over the middle. Incomplete. Evans the intended target. Evans talked about year 2 just kind of getting back to the fundamentals.
He said he watched a lot of film. He understands he hasn't been good enough the last few weeks. He anticipated coming in tonight and having a big game. This time, not able to bring it in. Not sure if the defender doesn't look like it changes the spin or the rotation of the football or it causes any wobble on the football. Just a drop by Evans.
That's 30 drop passes this season for the Buccaneers, 6th most in the NFL. 2nd and 10 for Tampa Bay. Early stages of the 3rd quarter. They trail 21-3. Winston a short drop. A low throw is handled by Humphries. Gets up and run with it. Humphries across the 25. He's got a first down for the Buccaneers, 14 yards. Tampa Bay trying to go with a little faster pace here on offense.
Humphries goes down to get the football. No contact with the ground. He gets up before Joyner can make contact with him and picks up the extra yards.
Shotgun for Winston. Flag down, Winston to run. Slides down as he hit the 20-yard line. Penalty marker is at the 23.
They're going to get William Hayes jumping early on the far side.
Outside. Defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Everybody on Tampa Bay just raved about the leadership of Jameis Winston in his rookie year. What were your impressions of him when we sat down to chat with him?
Well, that was my first time getting a chance to talk with him, and he did. He came in very confident. The guys that had come in the room before him and talked to us about him, his leadership, the way he came in, was very humble and quiet and waited for his time to take over that leadership role.
Charles Sims met by Brockers. St. Louis playing without Robert Quinn. He's done on IR. Quinn out with a back injury, had surgery on Monday. Loss of 2 on the play for Tampa Bay. Now, something Winston told us was, the team has been so accepting of me. Brockers was hurt on the play. They let me be who I am. I was comfortable right away. Ninth play of the drive for the Buccaneers. 2nd and 7. Winston stepping up. Winston throwing to the open man. Makes the connection downfield. And Winston hooks up with Stocker. First down. 14 yards.
Well, and that's what Winston does so well. He's able to extend plays. Akeem Ayers comes off of his left side. Winston's able to buy time, get outside the pocket, and find Stocker over in the right flat.
So first and goal for the Buccaneers, opening possession of this second half. Martin in the backfield with Lane from the 6. Give it to Martin. Trying to bounce it to the outside, and he gets stamped. Mark Barron, the former Buccaneer.
Barron's got outside contain as Martin tries to bounce it to the outside. Martin getting a little impatient with the pulling guard, not giving him time to set up the block. Barron with the tackle for loss.
Second and goal now from the 9. Martin flanks Winston. Play clock is down to 2. They didn't get the play off. Winston on the move, and the Rams have stopped because this play is whistled dead.
Before the snap, the layup game, offense, 5-yard penalty.
Sorry to
Still
jump over
second
the
down.
top of you there, Ian. I got a little excited when I saw that play clock. I was trying to, in my own mind, get Winston to hurry up a little bit. You can see him taking up too much time, the play clock down there.
Did you have a flashback right there?
I did. I was like, you got to get going. You got to get that tempo going. I know he's trying to change the play. Sometimes you just have to roll with it if there's not enough time or get that late timeout.
Second and goal. Tampa Bay heading in the wrong direction now at the 14-yard line. And again, having some issues. Play clock winding down. Winston guns it. Incomplete. Zafarian Jenkins got his hands on it. Rodney McLeod there defensively. And it's 3rd and goal for Tampa Bay.
Well, and Winston takes another hit with the pressure coming. You can see not able to complete the catch.
That was nearly a fantastic grab, but could not secure it. Third and goal. Winston steps up. Winston rifles it. Incomplete. Tried to squeeze it into Dye, who had a big drop last week for Tampa Bay.
Winston close to crossing the line of scrimmage, trying to get the defense to commit one way or another. He locates Dye, tries to hit the back shoulder in between Barron and Jenkins. Tough catch when your momentum's going one direction. It's one you'd like to see him come up with, at least if you're Jameis Winston.
32-yard attempt here for Connor Barth. Made one from 53 yards away in the first half. Shum will hold it. And the 32-yarder is good. Tampa Bay cuts into the St. Louis lead, but had to settle for 3. 21-6. Rams in front. News with a special Saturday edition of Thursday Night Football starting at 8:25 Eastern, only on NFL Network. Long drive for the Buccaneers. 13 plays, 66 yards. It took 5 minutes and 44 seconds. 32-yard field goal for Barth. 21-6. Rams with the lead. Cunningham, the deep man for St. Louis. Kickoff from Barth. Cunningham will take it out 1 yard deep in the end zone. Cunningham runs into a wall at the 17-yard line. Russell Shepard on special teams. Well, Trent, you know this city well. You grew up here. You played for the Rams. With all of the speculation and the questions surrounding the potential move, what's your feeling on A, how it'll all play out, and B, how this city handles it?
Well, I think it's going to be devastating for the city. I was living here in the 80s when the Cardinals left and moved to Arizona, and there was a point in time where there was no football until the Rams decided to move here. So I know it would be a huge loss for the city. Exactly what happens, I know the city council and they're trying to come up with the money to make the stadium thing work, and it'll just be decided here very shortly, though, as the NFL has set a deadline.
Gurley with a good run on first down of 9 yards. League owners will meet in Houston on January 12th and 13th. We asked James Laurinaitis about it. You know, Laurinaitis has been a longtime member of this team in his 7th year. He said it's impossible to ignore what's being said about it. We have no idea what's going to happen. His family comes to him and says, hey, look, you've got to have inside info. He said, I don't know anything. All I know is that this is home, and fortunately I've been able to focus on the routine of the NFL and have put the potential move off to the side.
Well, that's the personal side of it as a player. Yes, you have a job to do, but you also have a family to take care of, and deciding where you're going to be next season will ultimately be determined by someone else.
Keenum pulls the trigger. Downfield to Jared Cook. Flag is down at the 39-yard line. Long completion into Tampa Bay territory for 25 yards. Conti and Wright back there defensively.
Prior to the pass, holding, defense number 31. That penalty is declined. The result of the play is the first down.
Major Wright is in coverage. You can see the grab on Cook as he's trying to get up the seam. Accurate throw by Keenum. They'll take the catch over the penalty.
Keenum has been efficient. 11 of 14, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. Case Keenum suffered that concussion in Baltimore on November 22nd. It's a running play. And Gurley will lose a yard, hit by William Golston. The concussion got a lot of attention for the way that it was handled. We asked Keenum about it. He said that it was really an odd situation. The trainer, Reggie Scott, came out right away. He told me to stay down. I told him I was good to go, and then they ushered him off the field. Not Keenum, but Reggie Scott, the trainer. He stayed in the game. He said he called the right play. Keenum on 2nd and 11. Hits his man. Again, it's Jared Cook to the 35. That picks up 15 yards. This was week 11, late in the game. Keenum was sacked and hit his head on the turf. He clearly suffered a head injury. Offensive lineman trying to help him up. He went down. Remained in the game for 2 more plays. He ended up fumbling, which led to the Ravens' game-winning field goal. Jeff Fisher said that Keenum was not going to lose the starting job because of that injury, so he got it back once he was healthy. Catch by Austin, and a curl to the outside for a first down. That's 11 yards for St. Louis.
And I think it's pretty clear, Ian, that Case Keenum is healthy. 13 of 16 now. Here the touchdown to Tavon Austin on the quick screen. Then the double move to Britt down the sideline for another touchdown. This time on a bootleg, understanding what was going on with coverage, getting it in there. And then the perfect throw over the underneath coverage, dropping it in to Jared Cook for the first down along the sideline. He's been dialed in all night.
They are inside the 25 for Tampa Bay. That Gurley hit as he picks up 3 yards on the play. Case Keenum said, you know, I feel like a veteran now. He got some opportunities early in his career, and by his own admission, it was new to him, and he didn't know exactly what he was looking at in trying to analyze defenses. He says now his comfort level is much higher. He's seen a lot of things, and he fully understands what the defense is showing him.
Well, on the comfort level he showed on that last completion he had, he came out and he did a quick little shoulder roll to the right side to get the underneath coverage to bite over that way, and then came backside and hit Cook for the big gain.
On a 2nd and 7, Austin, the speed, Tavon Austin, touchdown, dynamic. A collision where Austin split the defenders, Conti and Golston.
Watch the way Tavon Austin changes speeds. He slows down, he allows the blocks to happen, he shifts gears, he sets his blocks up, and then he has the speed to accelerate to get into the end zone.
Second touchdown for Austin. 1 on the ground, 1 through the air. And dealing with the injured player, Chris Conti, who came over from the Bears, played for Lovie Smith in Chicago. Medical staff is out there checking on the safety. Conti, 7 plays, 83-yard drive. Austin was a high school running back. He rushed for 2,660 yards his senior year before heading to West Virginia, where he also filled multiple roles, and we've seen that carry over now here in the NFL for Austin. Ran a 4.2740 at the combine and was taken with the 8th overall pick in 2013. He's given St. Louis a 28-6 lead. Zerline will kick it to Bobby Rainey. Rainey's going to take it out of the end zone. Brought down short of the 15-yard line. Christian Bryant with the special teams tackle. Let's take a look at Next Gen Stats presented by Go 90.
It's going to be the reverse to Tavon Austin. You're going to see the acceleration, the change of speeds, topping out at 19 miles per hour. He runs over 50 yards to get into the end zone from 26 yards out.
St. Louis up big. Tampa Bay clearly missing the presence of Vincent Jackson in the passing game. Winston is 10 of 20, 105 yards. On a pitch, Martin getting to the outside. Out of bounds. 4-yard gain. He's got 74 yards on the ground. James Laurinaitis in on that stop for St. Louis.
And a more, 2nd and 6 from the Tampa 18.
Tampa Bay just needs to get themselves into a position where they can start converting some third downs. They're 2 of 8 on third down so far tonight. They've got to keep sustained drives. They've got to go down and get points. At this point in time, you're getting desperate for points. You can't settle for the field goals as they've now fallen behind.
Down to 5:02 to play in the third. Motion man is Evans on a 2nd and 6. Winston puts it in the air. Way up high once again for Mike Evans, who's a big target at 6'5", but Winston has had a number of overthrows here tonight.
Well, once again, I go back to the fact that he's under pressure. He doesn't have time to wait and see the angle or the depth that the receiver is coming out because of the pressure the Rams have been able to apply. Jameis doesn't have the time to sit in the pocket and analyze that. He's got to anticipate because of that collapsing pocket.
Now a 3rd and 6 for the Buccaneers. Shotgun for Winston. Again the rush. Winston over the middle. Mike Evans. First down, Tampa Bay. 20 yards on the hookup.
This time the pressure being picked up by Tampa Bay, allowing Winston time in the pocket to find Evans on the dig route. The Rams showed the same pressure, or presented the same pressure that they did earlier in the game, where they overloaded the left side and brought pressure from the right side. This time Tampa didn't fall for it. They were able to pick it up, slide over, and give Jameis time to step up in the pocket and hit Evans for the first down.
You asked Winston, who does he lean on? Who's part of his support group? And he said Derek Brooks, the former Buccaneer. At least once a week they talk. He said he's a great guy to bounce things off of. He's been very helpful. Family and friends as well. Another high throw over the head of Evans.
Winston for Evans, incomplete.
That one, Ian, you can't blame on pressure. He had plenty of time in the pocket. He was just trying to make that throw, similar to what Keenum did earlier in the game, where he had to get it over the head of the underneath coverage and down in time by the sideline. See 13 thrown to, but only 5 caught by Mike Evans tonight.
Mike Evans, part of that 2014 draft class of wide receivers. Beckham, Watkins, Cooks, Benjamin, who's injured for Carolina. 2nd and 10. Doug Martin. Martin hit from behind. He's got a first down at the 45. 17 yards on the zigzag.
And watch his vision and acceleration, understanding the blocking, seeing the cuts, making them happen. Great acceleration. Can understand why he's leading the league in rushing, Ian.
Chase down from Eugene Sims. And Martin inching closer to 100 yards tonight. Martin. Oh, he coughs up the football. St. Louis has got it. Doug Worthington. Called up from the practice squad. With a recovery.
Well, and it doesn't appear that he gets the ball cleanly on this. On the handoff, see how it's sliding to that right hip. He doesn't get the clean handoff. He ultimately loses it. St. Louis ball.
Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Bud Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Buccaneers turned it over. There's been a lot of sitting and analyzing for Winston and Cutter. Just never got it cleanly. Martin on the exchange. St. Louis takes over, 1st and 10 at the 46. Keenum on the toss to Kendricks. Short of the first down, but another completion for Keenum. 8-yard pickup. And Case Keenum has put together maybe the best performance of his pro career. A guy still trying to carve out a niche for himself at this level.
Well, and he's taking full advantage of his opportunity here tonight. You saw the stats there. You saw the numbers. Just done a nice job of mixing it up early in the game, getting the quick throws to the flat. Now as the game's progressed, he's pushing the ball up the field and taking calculated risk at the right time.
No Chris Conte. It's Wright and McDougal in safeties right now. Levante David with the tackle on Trey Mason. 3-yard pickup and a first down for the Rams. Knee injury for Conte. His return is questionable for Tampa Bay.
Well, this is as an offense. This is when you love the game. When you're up 28-6, you're dictating the pace of play. You can run the ball when you want. You get involved the play action pass. You can get the quick throws. And then when you have the chance where the defense gives it to you, you can take the big throws up the field. So right now, everything moving in the favor of the Rams offensively.
Early on the sideline, Mason is in there for St. Louis. And this play whistled dead as a timeout was called.
Well, and on the opposite side of that.
Snap. Timeout, St. Louis. Their second.
On the opposite side of that, the Buccaneers need to start taking some risks defensively.
Earlier this month, Rams players Trey Mason, Chase Reynolds, and Zach Lasky visited Shriners Hospital to deliver holiday gifts to children as part of the team's Baskets of Hope program. Making a difference here in the community. Well, those folks having a nice time tonight. Edward Jones Dome. Attendance has not been strong here in St. Louis. Whether that's a combination of the way the team has played and also all the speculation as to what's going to happen with this franchise and whether or not it relocates to the West Coast. The team moved from Los Angeles back in 1995. After the timeout, 2 flags on either side of the field.
Encroachment. Defense, number 93. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So another penalty against Tampa Bay. 2:07 left here in the third.
Well, once again, that's another example of how the Rams are in control of things. And Case Keenum has a full understanding of what's going on and what's at his disposal. Going to a hard count, coming out of a timeout on a first down when you know the defense is going to try getting pressure up the field.
On a give for Mason, out near the marker but short. 3-yard pickup for Trey Mason. William Golston in on that stop for Tampa Bay. St. Louis made the change. Rob Boras taking over as the offensive coordinator. He was the tight ends coach. Replaced Frank Cignetti. Jeff Fisher said he interviewed both Boras and Cignetti for the position originally. Ended up going with Cignetti because he had play calling experience at Cal, Pitt, and Rutgers. 2nd and 2. Marquez, the motion man. Austin to the backfield. Blown up. Lavonte David with the stick. Rob Boras, who admittedly was a little nervous last week in his debut calling the plays, had to excuse himself a couple of times from that area.
Yeah, it's not something you necessarily get completely comfortable with. And if you think about the last time Rob Boras called plays, it was in 2003 when he was offensive coordinator at UNLV. So now all of a sudden, that amount of time, that lapse, and you're calling plays in the National Football League. They end up getting the win, but as you said, he got a little sick to himself. He's going to feel better about this game tonight, the way he's been calling this and putting the Rams in good positions.
Now it's a 3rd and 4 for the Rams. We're under a minute to go in the third. And this possession has been disjointed. With a flag down. Delay a game for the Rams. Somebody was not lined up in the right spot. So 39 seconds left now in the third. Back it up. St. Louis will make some personnel changes. Keenum is looking to speed this up.
And with only 1 timeout left for the Rams, instead of wasting it there, they decide to go ahead and take the penalty.
It's a running play for Cunningham, and he won't get enough. On a 3rd and 9. The drive stalls just inside the Tampa Bay 40. As time expires in this third quarter here in St. Louis.
This is the end of the third quarter.
Rams have the lead 28-6 over the Buccaneers. We'll come back to the Edward Jones Dome after these messages on Thursday Night Football. Tonight's Next Gen Stats is brought to you by Go 90. Watch the NFL on the go with Go 90. Go 90 to watch, cut, and share all the awesome. Well, Tavon Austin, first player with 4 or more rushing touchdowns, 5 or more receiving touchdowns, and a punt return touchdown in a season since 1965. Gale Sayers.
That's pretty good company,
They came out to punt it. Now Johnny Hecker will take a shotgun snap on a 4th and 5. Hecker shifts out of there. And we get Wildcat mode, or do we? Benny Cunningham went up. Then we went into a punt pistol formation. They were trying to draw Tampa Bay off sides. Didn't happen.
Yeah, Tampa wasn't falling for that.
The old banana in the tailpipe.
The layup game, offense. That penalty is declined. Still 4th down.
The banana was for the yellow color of the uniforms.
Yes, yes.
High punt from Hecker. Ball bounced around. St. Louis claims they've got it. I'm not sure it hit a Buccaneer, though.
No, once it touched a Rams player, there's no risk at all for the Buccaneers to go after that football. So as soon as it hit the Rams player.
A flag was thrown at the 38. As we open up the fourth quarter here in St. Louis.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 91. After distance to the goal, first down. Timeout.
Daquan Bowers called on the hold. Tampa Bay is in a hole. Thursday Night Football is brought to you by Tostitos Chips and Dips. Bring the party. And by GMC. We are professional grade. Buccaneers are at their own 2-yard line. We have 14:49 to play in the fourth. It's all St. Louis, 28-6. The Rams leading Tampa Bay.
64 is an eligible receiver. 64.
Again, 6 offensive linemen for Tampa Bay. It's been Pamfield in his second year from Purdue. That's been the extra offensive lineman. Take the running play. Winston lets it fly. And working it to the outside, and Mike Evans with the catch. It's a 20-yard reception for Evans. 6 catches, 96 yards now for the Texas A&M product.
No, and that's a calculated risk if you're the Buccaneers. You understand this is a part of the field where Greg Williams may bring pressure, try and get that stop if it's a running play, but you're going to leave somebody isolated one-on-one in coverage. They're able to pick up the pass. Jameis Winston make an accurate throw for the first down, giving them some space away from their own end zone.
Line of scrimmage is now the 22. Pump. Winston goes long. It's complete again to Evans. Janoris Jenkins in coverage. 30-yard pass play.
Evans one-on-one against Jenkins down the right sideline. Once again, Winston right on target. Accurate throw over the shoulder. Quickly to midfield, quickly to midfield in 2 plays.
Fourth player in franchise history with consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons. He's done it in both of his 2 years in the league. Take it. Winston looking long. It's caught. Dante Dye. Dye could have kept going. And it's Luke Stocker there. That was a fumble by Dye. And Jameis Winston just came over to tell him he was not touched.
Oh, it's a tremendous catch by Dye. He just doesn't understand that he's not touched.
Now there was
contact. They can argue right there. Alexander got a hand on it, but you can see he steps up, his foot hits the goal line, but the ball never crosses the goal line.
There was a graze from behind by Alexander. First and goal inside the 5. Martin shifts to the backfield. Fake the pitch. Winston throws over the middle. Touchdown, Luke Stocker. So the Buccaneers score quickly. 4 plays, 98 yards, orchestrated by Winston.
When Stocker's just at the end of the line, he's going to come down, act like he's cracking on the linebacker. He's the last read you're making if you're Jameis Winston. You have 3 other receivers you're looking at first. He gets back to the 4th read, pulls up in the pocket, finds a touchdown.
Buccaneers will go for 2. They trail 28-12. .13:05 to play in the fourth. Motion man is great. Winston on time for the 2-point conversion. Makes the connection with Shepard. A flag thrown at the 8-yard line. Russell Shepard, the 3rd-year wideout from LSU.
Holding. Offense. Number 74, the right guard. 10-yard penalty. Replay to try.
Ali Marpet called on the hold. Nullifies the 2-point conversion.
Could have been hands to the face also, Ian.
So now they're going to send Connor Barth on to kick it.
Just your run-of-the-mill 43-yard extra point.
Yep. Connor Barth. From 43 yards away for 1 point. He splits the uprights. 28-13, Tampa Bay still alive. Plenty of time left here in St. Louis. To the postgame, the beginning of a rivalry and the play that launched a dynasty. The Timeline, a new NFL Network original series tonight after the postgame, only on NFL Network. Buccaneers score quickly. Jameis Winston orchestrating the 98-yard drive. Big numbers in the second half for Winston. Connor Barth will kick it off to Benny Cunningham. 28-13.
Well, and prior to that last drive, he's under 50% completion, but he goes 4 for 4 for 98 yards, so quickly turn things around.
Cunningham takes it out of the end zone. Working it to the outside. Cunningham has some room. Cuts it middle of the field. Cunningham. Blockers in front of him. Benny Cunningham nearly takes it the distance. Mike Jenkins saving the touchdown.
Giving the crowd some excitement here, following his blockers initially up the right sideline. Then it's all on him, cutting back. He's got his teammates continuing to block upfield, giving him space. Great vision on his part.
A 102 yards, and you don't get the touchdown. John Fossil, that close for the special teams coach.
I'd say wears his emotions on his sleeve a little bit.
St. Louis trying to punch it in. Gurley in the backfield. Gurley picks up 1.5 yards on the play. 2nd and goal for the Rams.
Well, and what a devastating blow that was to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after coming out and putting together, being pinned on your own 1 yard line, putting together a drive, going 98 yards, getting the touchdown, and then the ensuing kickoff, the Rams answer with the big return, getting it down to the 2 yard line.
Second and goal. Gurley. Nowhere to run. Gurley held to no gain on the play. It'll be 3rd and goal from the 2, hit by Gerald McCoy. (28-13), St. Louis with an opportunity to add to the lead here.
Well, and with Keenum being as mobile as he is as a quarterback, go with the play action pass, try and move him outside the pocket to where he can threat with his legs, but then also find some windows with the receivers in the end zone.
Gurley has a rushing touchdown tonight. It's 3rd and goal for St. Louis. Gurley with a head of steam, trying to push him in, and a pile up. Didn't get there. A field goal makes it a 3-score game. So no reason for St. Louis to take any chances here. Extend the lead as we approach the 11-minute mark of the 4th. 17 carries, 39 yards, and a touchdown for Gurley. 2 catches, 31 yards through the air.
Well, even though you heard the disappointment of the crowd wanting the Rams to go for it, this is the smart decision by Jeff Fisher. This is the only decision he can make by making this a 3-possession game, as you stated, Ian.
Chip shot here for Zerline, 19-yard attempt. 31-13, St. Louis. The long kickoff return by Cunningham sets up the Rams. Tonight's Skycam is being presented by Mazda. 31-13, St. Louis in front of Tampa Bay with 10:39 to go here in the fourth quarter from the Edward Jones Dome. Jameis Winston. We know about the leadership on offense, something that coach talked about, teammates talked about. Winston was upset after the kickoff return with special teams. Greg Zuerlein will kick it off to Bobby Rainey. Ball came off the tee.
When he's upset with special teams because the offense had just moved down and gotten this back to a 2-possession game, and then with the punt return by the Rams setting up that last field goal, now putting this back to a 3-possession game.
I don't know if there's a draft in here or something. That's the second time the ball came off the tee tonight inside the dome. Rainey, brick wall at the 20. So this was after the return. Jameis Winston was sharing his thoughts. Tampa Bay is down 31-13. On NFL Network, the Jets continue their push to the playoffs against the Cowboys. And then next Thursday, Chargers and Raiders, classic AFC West rivalry, only on NFL Network. First and 10 at the 20. Winston on the give for Sims. Charles Sims brought down shy of the 30-yard line. We go downstairs to Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, the Rams have played with a pretty inspired effort tonight. You may be able to point to a surprise visit they got during their afternoon meeting from Stedman Bailey from his rehab facility in Florida. Remember, Bailey during Thanksgiving week suffered 2 gunshots to the head. Well, he surprised the team via FaceTime. His message, take care of business. They've done it to this point, guys.
Yeah, Evan Bailey is expected to be released from the hospital next week. Reports that he was up and jogging around. 11-yard pickup to number 11, Adam Humphries.
Oh, and it's nothing short of a miracle. Number one, that he was able to live through that. And now that he's up, as you said, jogging around already, it's a tremendous recovery on his part.
Shot twice in the head on November 24th in Miami.
21, ready, 125, what's my dot? Sunday.
First down for Tampa Bay at the 40. Play fake. Winston, clean pocket, throws, lunging attempt, incomplete. Russell Shepard trying to make the grab. Laurinaitis was back there defensively for St. Louis. So Winston now 16 of 29, 233 yards and a touchdown.
And just like he did on that throw, Ian, he's going to have to continue to try and push the ball up the field. I know early in the game I was preaching for him to hit some short throws, get it out of his hands quickly, but now with the score at a 3-possession standpoint, you have to start stretching the field.
Toss it to Humphries. Takes a shot from Maurice Alexander. 12 yards on the catch and run.
You could hear that collision all the way up here.
Alexander, hard hitter. Now in his second year in the league. Winston pumps and throws offline. Dante Dye, the intended receiver. You know, clearly, you've got a demographic in that 21 to 22-year-old range, because when Jameis Winston and Mike Evans came to our meeting room, the first thing they said to you is, "Oh, I used to kill it with you on Madden."
Man, I played you on Madden. That was the. Both of them said the same exact thing, and you go, "What's the deal with that?" And we had to figure out that demographic, that age range.
You're strong on Madden, apparently.
Go,
2nd and 10. Pitch it to Charles Sims. Sims taking the sideline. Knocked out of bounds. Sims doesn't get a lot of carries, but he makes the most of them. Luke Stocker with a key block, and Sims turns it upfield for 35 yards.
Nice job by the Buccaneers sealing the inside and then getting bodies out in space. Only 2-on-2 blockers out there, so once you get those bodies down, Sims had the wheels to get it up the sideline, put him into scoring position.
By the way, we wish John Madden well. Had open heart surgery last week, and of course wish him all the best, to the best. Out of the gun. Incomplete. Safarian Jenkins, second-year tight end. He's had a tough time staying healthy. Maurice Alexander back there defensively for the Rams.
When you're going to wonder why Safarian Jenkins is upset with this play. Alexander coming in, making the contact beforehand. Once again, Winston under pressure. Takes another hit from Donald.
Aaron Donald, 2014 NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year, and in the conversation for Defensive Player of the Year this season. He's the whole package. Flags come down. Winston was operating out of the gun. 8:09 to play in the 4th. Sims is pointing at Smith. Smith was pointing at Sims.
To the quarterback. Defense, number 97. 5-yard penalty. Still 2nd down.
And Donovan Smith was right. So let's give him credit.
After the penalty, 2nd and 5.
Little tap afterwards. Winston trying to draw an extra 15. Not going to happen.
And that's an apology Winston would not accept.
And Boger took the Jerome Boger took the brunt of it.
On 2nd down. Underneath. Catch and the extension. Safarian Jenkins. Flags down. Did he throw the ball at the end of the play?
Well, they're going to get unsportsmanlike on Tampa Bay, so instead of having 1st and goal at the 1.
After the 1st down was made, the layup game, offense, number 87, throwing the football away.
No, that's not smart.
It will still be 1st and 10.
There was a moment where it looked like it could have been a touchdown on the extension here by Safarian Jenkins.
Now you can see where the ball comes down about 8 to
short.
about 4 inches short of the goal line. His knee didn't make contact, but definitely the ball didn't cross the plane, and then he throws the ball out of the back of the end zone, picking up the penalty.
1st and goal for Tampa Bay. We're down to 7:50 to play. Winston to the end zone, broken up. Trying to get Cameron Brate in a matchup with the safety Maurice Alexander.
Brate on the isolation, just with the out and up, trying to wrap around Alexander. Winston tried to hit a back shoulder throw, but not putting it to his back shoulder. Winston lucky that ball's not intercepted.
St. Louis lost Robert Quinn for the rest of the season. Alec Ogletree fractured right fibula in week 4 against Arizona. Safety TJ McDonald is on IR with a shoulder injury. So that's why Maurice Alexander has seen extended action. 2nd and goal for the Buccaneers. Lofts it. Too high. Shepard the intended target, and he was open on the play.
Well, Winston's upset with Shepard after this play, but I think this has to be a more accurate throw by Winston. I think the landmark is that back corner. He's got to put it in position. He sees Shepard win off the line of scrimmage. Could make that an easier throw, but you could see after the play, Winston wasn't happy with the angle of that route.
3rd and goal for the Buccaneers. Winston out of the pocket. Winston, back of the end zone, incomplete. Tampa Bay is down 31-13. They need a couple of touchdowns, a field goal. They need a 2-point conversion. They need scores. And they'll keep the offense on the field.
Well, and it looks like they have an injured offensive lineman, so that's going to affect whether or not they go for it here on 4th down.
Now a shift as Barth will come on for the Buccaneers. You try to construct a rally here for Tampa Bay. They'll need 8, they'll need 7, they'll need 3 to get to the 18. Currently trailing 31-13. This is a 24-yard attempt for Barth. Barth connects. 31-16 St. Louis. 7:31 left in the 4th. Ball is brought to you by Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. And by Joseph A. Bank. With a heritage of high quality, Joseph A. Bank is the answer to all your men's attire needs. 31-16, St. Louis comfortably in front with 7:31 to play. Buccaneers trying to put some pressure on the Rams here. Too early for an onside kick?
I believe it is. You have this many timeouts left. It's still a 2-score game, 7.5 to go. Go ahead and kick it away and count on your defense to get the ball back.
Connor Barth will kick it. Short kick. Cunningham is not going to get his hands on it. Out of bounds. Reynolds over there, and a flag is down, a couple of them. Yeah, the penalty on Safarian Jenkins for tossing the ball would have been set up inside the 1. Now a penalty on the kick. A shove along the sideline. That will put Tampa Bay in double digits if it's enforced against them.
There is no foul for unnecessary roughness on the play. First down, St. Louis.
So they'll stay at 9 penalties, 56 yards, costing the Buccaneers tonight. 31-16 Rams. St. Louis at 5-8, Tampa Bay at 6-7. The Rams, that 5-game losing streak, they'll look back and say that's what cost them the meaningful games in December that may have propelled them into the playoffs. First and 10 at the 19. Gurley churning the legs for a 5-yard pickup. Brought down by Jacquez Smith for Tampa Bay. We're down to 7:17 and counting left in the 4th.
Well, and this is a part of the game that gets overlooked a lot of times. I know there's 7 minutes left in the game, but there's a 4-minute offense you work on as an offensive unit. 2-minute is a very important one when you're trailing, trying to get down to get points, but when you're trying to run the clock out, you're trying to keep the ball moving, you talk to your players in the huddle, stay in bounds, keep the clock moving, force the other team to use their timeout.
Tampa Bay has all 3 timeouts left. Fake it. Keenum avoids 1 tackle. And Keenum stumbles. 2 Buccaneers down on the play. William Golston did not want help. Had a few collisions, and this one was Lansana.
Best thing Keenum did there is not throw the incompletion, keep the clock moving. See, Lansana takes the brunt of that hit.
And Lansana is still down. 6:44 mark of the fourth. Players have formed a circle around him. Medical staff there as well. It was Golston with the friendly fire. We'll get a timeout here in St. Louis as they check on Lansana. Great sign. Danny Lansana got up on his feet, walked off to the Tampa Bay sideline. St. Louis facing a 3rd and 6 with 6:44 left. That's a huge play for the Buccaneers defense. If they'll have any chance in this game, they have to get a stop here against the Rams.
Well, as you said, Ian, they still need the 2 scores, and with the amount of time left on the clock, they have to have this crucial stop.
Rams came in tonight last in the NFL on 3rd down conversions, just over 25%. They are 2 of 7 tonight. This is a 3rd and 6.
Tampa looks like they're going to man-to-man coverage and bringing pressure.
Fake it initially. Now Austin is brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Tampa Bay will use a timeout to stop the clock with 6:21 remaining, and they'll get the football back, trailing 31-16.
It's the 3rd time the Rams tried going back to that play on Tavon Austin. They had success with it in the first quarter. They also had a touchdown off of that play. That time not fooling Tampa Bay as they brought pressure.
And with Lansana out, Jeremiah George was in and made the play for Tampa Bay. Johnny Hekker will punt it. Jameis Winston will get another crack at this St. Louis defense. Only a minute 10 came off the clock on that possession. Bobby Rainey, standing at his own 35-yard line, averaging just over 11 yards per punt return with a long of 58, is waiting for it. They went for the block. Hekker gets it off cleanly. High punt. Rainey fair catch and brings it in at the 31-yard line.
Some of the miscues for Tampa Bay tonight. Not able to bring that in. Would have been down at the goal line here. A back shoulder throw by Winston isn't able to be completed. A bad handoff exchange. And then, of course, Safarian Jenkins gets it to the 4-inch line and throws out the back of the end zone, causing a delay again. They have to settle for the field goal. They're on 4th down, throwing it out of the back of the end zone. Miscues all over the place. Ian, you also mentioned the fact 9 penalties on the night for the Buccaneers. They haven't done themselves any favors.
They've got it here with a 1st and 10 at the 31. Winston steps up and throws to the sideline. It's caught by Evans. Mike Evans having a big night statistically. That's 17 yards. 8 catches for Evans. 143.
Very similar to the throw that Case Keenum made in the first half. Thrown into that cover 2 window where the corner doesn't get deep enough, the safety doesn't get over the top. You have that room on the boundary. That time Jameis Winston with a very accurate throw up over the top.
Jameis Winston operating with 6 minutes to play. His team down by 15. Winston with the toss to Humphreys. Into St. Louis territory, modest gain, 6 yards. Barron and Johnson combined to bring down the rookie out of Clemson.
You need to get the 2 scores, so you got to keep positive plays going. As we take a look at the yardage, very lopsided there in the first quarter, now swinging in favor of Tampa Bay.
Winston again has time and throws it to Great. First down inside the 40. 7-yard pickup. Tampa Bay on the move once again. Cameron Brate, the Harvard product.
When I anticipate at some point in time, Greg Williams is going to bring pressure. The last few plays, they've just dropped back into zone coverage, going to cover 2, only rushing 4, allowing Winston to sit back in the pocket and make his reads.
A step up by Winston. The throw, intercepted. Throws it right to Johnson. Tremaine Johnson will go down at the 31. Johnson had a 58-yard interception return for a touchdown last week. That's number 6 on the season for Johnson.
Well, and this is 100% on Jameis Winston, not recognizing in cover 2 that the corner was dropping back. There's a window back there that you can hit. We just mentioned he made the completion against the cover 2, dropping it into Evans. This time he throws the ball too flat, doesn't get it up over the corner. With Johnson that far back into coverage, you got to get it to the underneath receiver. You can see the frustration Winston shows after that throw.
21 of 40, 282 yards, a touchdown and a pick, and a souvenir here in St. Louis. Running play, Gurley hurdles. Gurley has not been able to get to the clear. 2.5-yard gain for Gurley. Brought down by the veteran Tony McDaniel. We're down to 4:40 and counting remaining in the fourth.
Well, that's one of the things that Tampa Bay can feel positive about tonight is holding Gurley in check. 47 yards on 19 carries. Haven't allowed him, as you said, Ian, to get loose for the big play.
He averaged 42.7 yards per game over a 4-game stretch prior to the 100-yard game last week, which was his first since week 8. Gurley. Stutter step for 2. And a timeout called. Brought down by Major Wright. Gurley has gone over the 1,000-yard mark tonight in his rookie season. Third Ram to do it. Go back to 1993. That is Jerome Bettis. And 1983, Eric Dickerson.
Well, a couple Hall of Famers, good company to be in.
Danny Lansana is back out there for Tampa Bay. So Lansana, after the big hit, prior possession with William Golston, his own teammate who hit him, Lansana has returned to the field. This will be a 3rd and 5 for the Rams. Tampa Bay is down to 1 timeout remaining. "20 carries, 49 yards, and a touchdown for Gurley. On 3rd and 5 for the Rams.
Kill it! Kill! 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 Kill!
You can hear Keenum changing the play of the line.
Give it to Gurley. Hit behind the line by Golston. Loss of 1 on the play. 4th down, St. Louis. Buccaneers came in number 8 against the run, allowing 94 yards per game on the ground. They've done an excellent job against the rookie Todd Gurley tonight.
Golston shedding the block of Kendricks and able to make contact on Gurley, not allowing him to get going downhill and tackle for loss.
Just 101 yards rushing tonight for St. Louis.
1-9 now with just over 4 minutes to go, no timeouts left. Tampa Bay is going to have to be in hurry-up mode the entire time, try and get in the end zone, and then ultimately get an onside kick.
So here's Hecker again. Bobby Rainey under it. Fair catch called for. And he brings it in at the 18-yard line. 46-yard punt. After the postgame, the beginning of a rivalry and the play that launched a dynasty. The Timeline, a new NFL Network original series that's tonight after the postgame, only on NFL Network. Well, for Todd Gurley, mentioned that 5-game losing streak for St. Louis. He said, "I've never been through that." It felt like anything that could go wrong did go wrong. A lot of the veterans would pull him aside and tell him to remain positive in his rookie season.
Well, so much was being made about the struggles he was having, and they talked about him hitting the rookie wall, and then all of a sudden last week with 140 yards rushing. Rams able to keep Tampa Bay in bounds there, keep the clock moving.
So Brate hauls it in for 5, but you see the clock rolling. 3:38 and counting left in the fourth. Winston out of the gun, steps up, takes a shot, and hits his man for a first down. Doug Martin, 6 yards. Eugene Sims a little slow to get up after he put the hit on Winston.
Well, he got shoved to the ground and trying to flop and get a penalty called, but Rams are fine with that because the clock just keeps moving.
Winston tosses out toward the sideline, and once again it's Brate. This time he does get out of bounds. Mark Barron over there. It's an 8-yard pickup. Barron, the number 7 pick in the 2012 draft by Tampa Bay, was acquired in a deal last season. 2nd and 2. 3:07 to go. 31-16 St. Louis. Winston. Fastball to Safarian Jenkins. First down into St. Louis territory at the 49. 13-yard pass play.
And you can see Greg Williams change it up a little bit there, bringing some pressure, bringing that 5th rusher. When you do that, you leave the middle of the field open, and that's where Tampa was able to hit it.
It's a career high for Winston, 314 yards. Winston gets out of trouble and tosses it out towards the Tampa Bay sideline. Pressure from Sims once again.
Well, and this has been the case all night as Winston under pressure. You just mentioned the fact his career high in yardage.
Second and 10 with 2:39 to play. Winston steps up and throws to the 35. Mike Evans. That is 9 catches now for Evans. 14 yards to give him 157 on the night.
Well, I think it's clear they've also been missing Vincent Jackson. Having that other big receiver, that other weapon, the tandem of he and Evans.
Winston, wobbly ball, nearly picked off. LaMarcus Joyner was back there. Mark Barron with a hit on Winston. That affected the throw.
Barron coming off the edge here. You know this game means a lot to Barron. Traded from Tampa Bay, a first-round pick in 2012. Traded from Tampa Bay in 2014 to these Rams. You know this game means a lot to him.
Winston has attempted 30 more passes than Case Keenum. Set it up underneath for Charles Sims. Turns it upfield. Sims the acceleration. Brought down just short of the 15-yard line by Rodney McLeod, making his 44th straight start. We hit the 2-minute warning after the 20-yard catch and run. St. Louis looking to hold on at home against the Bucs. Next, Mazda postgame show. Interviews, analysis. Aaron Donald expected to join the guys on set here in St. Louis. Mazda postgame show, and Saturday night, the Jets are in Dallas to take on the Cowboys. We'll have the action for you right here on NFL Network. Jim Nantz, Phil Simms, Tracy Wolfson. AFC playoff picture, the Jets at 8-5, Kansas City at 8-5, the Steelers at 8-5. There will be a quality team on the outside looking in the AFC when it's all said and done.
And then you've got the AFC South, where everybody's going to be battling for that. Right now, Houston and Indianapolis, both at 6 and 7, battle this weekend for the division lead. But as you said, Ian, that's going to be frustrating for one of those teams between Pittsburgh, Kansas City, and the Jets if they can't get in with a better record.
Final 2 minutes at the Edward Jones Dome. 31-16 Rams. Winston will toss it underneath. Charles Sims tries the spin move. Brought down. The clock is moving. We're down to 1:50 to play. Mark Barron with the tackle. 7-yard gain.
Taking too long.
On a 2nd and 3. Winston throws it. End zone. Touchdown. The connection with Safarian Jenkins. And Tampa Bay making it interesting.
Just pushes up to the end zone. A little bit of push off at the top. Not called. Kick the extra point here. Save if you get the onside kick, then after the next score is when you go for the 2-point conversion. No need to go for the 2-point conversion now.
Third touchdown of the season for Safarian Jenkins. Connor Barth for the extra point. It's an 8-point game with 1:34 left. St. Louis sweating this one out. 20th touchdown pass of the season for Winston. That's a new franchise rookie record for the #1 overall pick.
He's got the rookie record for Tampa Bay in yards, rookie record passing touchdowns, rushing touchdowns. He's tied with a couple of guys. You can see the foundation is there for Tampa Bay moving forward.
Yeah, with Lovie Smith, that was the first question we asked him about Winston. He said he has been everything we thought he would be and more. They did a lot of research on him, talked to coaches, talked to family members, talked to teammates, and he's been way beyond what they hoped for. Called him a special guy and a special leader.
Well, and the good part was talking to the players gave us the same response. You know, you watch all the highlights and you hear the things that were talked about him when he was in college. So guys wanted to form their own opinions, and they've all been very impressed with his leadership skills and his maturity and how he's been the leader for them in the locker room.
Hands team for St. Louis. Connor Barth with the onside attempt. Timeout called by the Rams. John Fossil's special teams unit will huddle up. We've seen some wacky things on Thursday night this season, so not out of the realm of possibility for Tampa Bay right here, trailing by 8.
Well, there's only so many things you can do here on the onside kick. You can kick it to the side you're aimed at. You can go up and do the pump fake one way and try and get back the other. You try and do a squib in the middle of the field.
Still a lot of time left, too. At 1:34, they get the recovery here. That's plenty of time.
Plenty of time. Even with no timeouts, that's plenty of time.
We've seen some teams line up 2 kickers, the kicker and the punter, just to go with the deception mode. Tampa Bay will not do that. It's Barth by himself. St. Louis looking to seal the deal. Barth. Rams have got it. Bryce Hager. And that was easy. 1:33 to play.
Well, and they went with option 2. When I went through all the different things you could do, it's like fake one way and try and come back the other. See how they did the side spin there? They're hoping it was going to take a goofy bounce and not be able to bring it in. But as you said, Hager able to bring it in cleanly.
It was an easy roller to Hager. Tampa Bay has no timeouts remaining.
Hey, I'm about to run a go route.
Victory formation for the Rams. Keenum takes a knee. Coming up next, don't forget Mazda postgame show, interviews, analysis. Aaron Donald, the talented defensive tackle for St. Louis, will be on set. Coming up, Mazda postgame.
Well, how about the game that Case Keenum had? Outstanding effort on his part. 14-17, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. Didn't turn the ball over. Has been in command since the start of this game. Now coming back off of that concussion he suffered against Baltimore, missing a couple games, but now winning 2 games in a row for the Rams.
Just heard a chant, keep the Rams. That'll be a big part of the storyline moving forward. What happens with this franchise? Final 37 seconds. In what could be the Rams' final home game in St. Louis, it's a victory. 31-23 over the Buccaneers. Rams improve to 6-8 on the season. Buccaneers fall to 6-8. Keenum, outstanding night. 14 of 17, 234 yards, 2 touchdowns. Winston trying to bring the Buccaneers back. Career high 363 yards, 2 touchdowns, and an interception. Kenny Britt, high fives exchanged with fans, and there's Britt with his daughter.
Fans on your way home tonight, tune into 101 ESPN. For complete
The Rams defeat the Buccaneers Thursday night football 31-23. It's a tight relationship. Winston and Gurley goes back when they were part of Team USA at the International Bowl when they were 17 years old. Winston telling us that they hit it off right away and he knew he was going to be a legit player. And here they are meeting at the highest level.
Well, and it was such a tight relationship that Jameis had a picture of Gurley and wasn't giving it up. We're like, come on, share that picture with us when he was in high school, and they weren't willing to share it.
Final score, the Rams 31, the Buccaneers 23. Coming up next, it's the Mazda postgame show. For Trent Green, Evan Washburn. Ian Eagle saying so long from St. Louis. You've been watching Thursday Night Football. Have a great night, everybody.